Yes, sir. Welcome, everybody. It is Dem Boys Watch Footy. Hope everybody has had a really good time over the past weekend. We had the Super Bowl, aka the Bonito Bowl. I really hope
Yeah.
everybody enjoyed Bad Bunny's performance. Now we're talking about actual footy. So you got Dem Boys Watch Footy here. You got your boy E. You got your boy PJ. He is currently rocking his Serginho Dest jersey from the U.S. men's national team. We're going to be talking about all things U.S. men's national team today. PJ, how you been, man?
Sad the Patriots lost. I enjoyed the halftime show, but the World Cup is coming up, so that is my second favorite team is the Patriots. My favorite team is the U.S. Men's National Team. So excited to talk about that. That's getting me through the Patriots loss.
Yeah, it was a tough L for sure. I'm currently rocking my Super Bowl hat from a couple Super Bowls ago. I actually did some production work for that back then with On Location and IMG. So really happy to see like how great that production was last night. How love trumps hate. I love that message. So really hope everybody got a chance to give that a look. Also, want to tell everybody like, share, subscribe, give us some love, join the Discord. It's all within the links that you'll see either on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple Music, wherever you get it. Algorithm, please. Everybody needs to give our algorithm some love within these fun podcasting times, y'all. All right, let's go with the men's national team. We have the World Cup upcoming. U.S. men's are one of the three host countries for this tournament within the World Cup. You have the United States, you have Canada and Mexico, who all did a joint venture. We have our embattled coach. We have Mauricio Pochettino, who's kind of been flirting with going to Spurs after the World Cup. So I don't think he thinks that he's going to get that far within this tournament. PJ, we're going to talk about it a little bit later, but you have a lot of different storylines going on within the team. You have Christian Pulisic, you have Giovanni Reina, Weston McKennie. Where are they going to fit within the midfield? You have Timothy Weah, some other things that we're going to discuss in another topic a little bit later, probably after this one. Just Timothy Weah with the coach. We still haven't really figured out our striking situation. Our defense is in a weird place. PJ, help us out. What are you thinking about with this U.S. men's national team? How are we looking going into the World Cup?
Yeah, I mean, let's just go broad for a second before we go more granular because we haven't talked about. We've taken a deep dive in a while. I think there's definitely more optimism than when we last really talked about the U.S. men's national team. We've had some better results. I've always said, friendlies don't mean nothing, but
Yeah,
it shouldn't be taken too seriously. So when we were doing poorly, like a year or two ago, I think that might have been a little blown out of proportion. Our winning some friendlies now is a positive sign, but still what ultimately matters and what Pochettino got brought on for is the World Cup. So, long story short, we're looking better. There's obviously a lot of questions with the team, and that which we will get into.
yeah, for sure. I mean, talking about friendlies, the U.S. has three friendlies upcoming in March, and they're pretty big friendlies as well. You have USA versus Belgium, USA versus Portugal, and USA versus the African champions, Senegal. Like some really big tests to really ramp up the squad going in. We'll see what Pochettino has actually done tactically to really fit this team to mold what he's trying to do for the upcoming World Cup. But then as well, who's actually going to make the team?
Yeah.
That's what this episode is really trying to help us all about. So, PJ, I'll throw it to you first. Just looking broad strokes, tell us like, how do you feel this team is going to perform this World Cup?
Yeah. I'm optimistic. I think we could maybe go make a quarterfinal run because we have that home field advantage, but there are some really big questions. I think the three biggest questions for me, number one, probably by a significant margin, is Matt Freese going to be our goalkeeper? He had his first cap last year, which is unheard of. Matt Turner was the guy for a long time. The UN's best national team has had a history of strong goalkeepers. So we just don't know. We don't have enough of a sample size. He hasn't played bad or good. He's just done fine in some friendlies
Yeah.
for us and like I think one official competition. So that's the biggest thing. Then questions two and three sort of overlap. How the midfield is going to develop and how some players that are in good club form and playing for big clubs, how they will transition that to the UN's best national team. For example, someone like Malik Tillman had 3 goals for Bayer Leverkusen this week, but he hasn't
Yeah.
transferred that to the U.S. men's national team this
Yeah,
yet.
it's really weird. You're seeing a lot of attacking talent within the U.S. men's national team. You have the midfielder, what is his name? Tesselman, begins with a
That's been,
T.
yeah.
Yeah, Tessman. He is killing it right now with Lyon as they're trying
Mhm.
to push for a Champions League qualification within the French league, Ligue 1. But then as well,
Yeah.
just like you said, Bayer Leverkusen, who 2 years ago came off of an undefeated season to win the Bundesliga in Germany. And then now, after losing their big component within Florian Wirtz, he left over to go to Liverpool. Like you kind of have that missing that vacuum of attacking talent, and he's really pushing forward to have a starting say. But I mean, to us right now, you already know who we usually go with: Christian Pulisic, Timothy Weah, and then at striker, it's a mixed bag.
Balogun
You
right now, I think,
yeah,
is the
Balogun, you have Pepe, you have Brendan Aronson. Like you have a lot of different options that can go into that. Who would I'll start there. Who would you like to see starting at striker for the U.S. men's national team?
there's only one answer right now, and it's Balogun because the 1B is Pepe, and he's injured. Interesting things are going on with him. He has sustained a pretty bad injury, but there's talks of him getting signed by Fulham for somewhere in the ballpark of 40 million.
Wow,
But right now, long story short, Balogun's the guy, and Pepe, if he recovers fine, is number two. Then after that, you've got it's Sargent, Ajiman, Haji Wright, championship players. So right now,
yeah.
Balogun is who
I mean,
I
Haji Wright's got him going though. Right now, Coventry are still top in the championship, and he did score a few goals. He scored a goal against who was it? Manchester City last season to possibly get win a cup. Even though Coventry didn't ultimately win that, like they still had a chance. I mean, it's a very interesting thing to see. Pepe, you have Balogun, you have Aronson, you have Diego Luna. Do you feel as though he's gonna try to stamp his name over Timothy Weah? Like, do you feel as though anybody's interchangeable in that front line?
Yeah, anything is possible with Pochettino because he has shown that he is looking for the best team, meaning the best group of individuals, not the biggest individual talents. So MLS players who are busting their ass, they might not be playing on big clubs. They all have a chance because he's trying to put together the best group. So yeah, guys like Luna, guys like Arston, people playing the MLS, Berhalter, they have not only a chance to make the team, but have a chance to have significant minutes, as we've seen with Pochettino.
For sure. And now we looking at our captain, killing it right now over in Milan, Christian Pulisic. He is going to have the microscope on him. He is the Landon Donovan of our generation now. What are you expecting to come from him, especially how well he's doing for Milan right now over in Italy?
Yeah, I mean, he got off to an absolutely incredible start. He hasn't played too much in the last couple matches, which might be slightly concerning. I don't know if it's technical or maybe he has like a slight injury. He obviously has a history of injuries that maybe they're trying to be patient with him, but he always shows out for the USA. So, well, I'm a little concerned that the last month has been a little off for him. He's
Yeah.
always performed for the US. So if he's healthy, I'm assuming he is going to be the difference maker that we need.
Okay. Okay.
What do you
Now,
think?
I mean, we have to kind of just Pulisic and trust, you know. I like what I see when both him and Weah are able to interlink. They have a very good understanding of playing in the front line for the US men's national team. So whatever is gonna happen happens with him. Like he's the engine that makes everything happen for our squad. Win or lose,
Yeah,
his handprint has to be all across this entire every match that we play. He's the most important player. So very excited to see where he kind of takes us, you know?
same.
Midfield, though, that's where all of the real battles are starting to happen. You
Yeah.
have Weston McKennie, newly minted captain of Juventus. You have Brendan Aronson over there, really doing a lot of great things over with Leeds. Testament, as we talked about, Timmy Tillman, Christian Roldan, the often forgotten men, Gio Reyna, he's still
Mhm.
there. Berhalter, Aiden Loris. I'm
It's a lot
speaking
of
those
people.
names.
That's a lot of depth.
Yeah, a lot of depth, but I'm not really seeing like somebody who's going to be able to sweep and protect our back line. Like, who do you think
Mhm.
is going to be able to take that to be able to help out this squad stay up with a lot of these big teams
Yeah.
within the World Cup?
Yeah, that's a great question, and part of it depends on the formation that we go with.
Yeah,
If we're going with a 4-3-3 or maybe like a 3-5-2 with two wingbacks, it's very possible that we could see Adams and Tessman there, both with more defensive roles. I think they're probably the best defensive midfielders that we have. Kenny can play anywhere too. He could probably play defensive midfielder if we wanted him to. His coach at Juventus said he could play striker too. So he's extremely versatile. He's going to get a lot of playing time, not just because he's in great form, but because of his versatility. But I'd be looking at Adams and Tessman to kind of control the ball and help protect the defense.
So you have Adams and Tessman, and then you have McKinney playing like that 10 role, or
I wouldn't hate him as kind of maybe like an advanced central midfielder, whether it's a 10 or like at the top of a triangle in a 4-3-3.
yeah.
He kind of float around and have like a little bit of creativity. But I mean, he was playing wing back. He's playing all these different positions, but I'd like to see him in a more central.
Okay, okay. And for our listeners and viewers that aren't the strongest with, when we're talking about different positions, when we go over to talking about a 10 role, usually the 10 is the top of the person in the midfield who's the most advanced, but is always going back to backtrack and link the play between the midfield, the defense, and the attack. So I really want to push that out there because a lot of people are coming to us for the first time, don't know
Yeah.
anything about footy. So really trying to get our creative juices going, talking about the game and not just explaining what we know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's well said. And McKinney is just we might talk about him later, but he is in absolutely ridiculous form. Scored
Yeah.
again for Juventus.
Yeah, he's doing very well right now over in Italy. A lot of Americans in Italy. I love it. The Italian league, it's a very hit or miss space right now, but the fact that so many Americans are over there and just doing very great work. Americans over in the Premier League, Americans over in the German league. Years ago, I'll never forget Jurgen Klinsmann, the former manager for US men's national team, said we need more Americans over there playing against the top talent. 10 years later, we're actually doing it.
Yeah.
So it's just so weird not having, as you said, a great goalkeeper. Matt Freese, like looking at this goalkeeper room, it's not underwhelming, but it's just like it's a whelming.
It's underwhelming. Extremely underwhelming.
Yeah, you have Celentano, you have Matt Freese, you have Jonathan Klinsmann, Jurgen Klinsmann's son,
Yeah.
and you have Patrick Schultz, goalkeepers for the U.S. men's national team. And Freese, our former goalkeeper who was actually keeping us in, he doesn't even have a club right now. So
Mhm.
it's very tough. Do you see any of these gents like really taking the next step to Freeze did take it away to actually cement himself, but even then, I haven't seen a big European club even look his way as a shot stopper. So, what are you thinking, Peach?
Man, this is by far, like I said before, the biggest question because Turner was the guy.
Yeah,
And he had that weird thing with Olympique Lyon where they signed him, and then when they found out they weren't getting relegated, they're like, "Wait, you're not good enough for Ligue 1." So right now, Freeze is the guy, and we just don't know. Like I said, we haven't he hasn't played bad, but he hasn't played good. He just has done his job. But we've only seen what, like a dozen games with the U.S. men's national
yeah,
team, so it's really hard to say. I'm definitely nervous. We don't have Tim Howard or Brad Friedel back there.
yeah.
Who knows? He could play great and get signed by a big club, but we just don't.
True, true. I mean, I
It
would love to
stresses me
hear
out.
what our audience has to say. Like, do they love Freeze? Do they hate him? Is it just Freeze we trust? Like, I'd love to hear what our audience has to say on that.
Yeah, I'm.
And then my favorite positions, the defense. Looking at those guys, you have Max Arfston, you have Serginho Dest, Alex Freeman, Mark McKenzie, you have Tim Ream, the everlasting center back, Robinson, you have Scally, Tolkien, Trusty. What are you really looking at in that defense? I really like what I'm seeing with our left back, Robinson, and
Yeah,
really liking what I'm seeing with him over in Fulham. Like Tim Ream, he also plays over at Fulham, still kicking on. But is our defense our weak point or is it a strength?
our defense. I mean, goalie is by far our weak point
Yeah.
because no one's battle tested. After that, probably defense. Definitely midfield is by far our strongest position and our deepest. It depends on how we line up. If we do three center backs and have Robinson and Dest on the wings, but I think the three like locked in players that are in defensive roles are Robinson, who was second in the EPL in assists last year.
Yeah.
Dest, who is killing it at PSV. We'd like to see him at a bigger club, but
Yeah.
probably not before the World Cup. And then Chris Richards. The question is, will Tim Ream, who's about my age, still be starting? Mark McKenzie's in great form for Toulouse in a Ligue 1. So We'll see. Well, I think a lot of these guys are going to rotate. Cameron Carter Vickers is still in the mix too.
Yeah, Cameron Carter Vickers, he's always a wild card because he feels as though he's so old, but he's still in his mid-20s, and you're like,
It looks old.
your name just keeps popping up, but you never play, but then when you play great, but then you get dropped so much. I don't know how to really react with you. So from that entire list that you just told us of all the players, what are you looking at to really start? Like, if you were Pochettino, what would you do the lineup as?
Oh man, this is the fun question, not the prediction of what he will do. What I would do. I mean,
Yeah.
I think the sexiest that people want would be a 3-5-2 with Robinson and Dest as wingbacks. So we really
Oh,
have an attack going forward. That might leave us vulnerable in the back. If we got old man Ream there, does he have enough speed to cover ground? And we might have a traditional four man back line, 4-3-3. But I think our strongest area of our back line is the outside, Dest and
yeah.
Robinson. And Dest has played great for the US. Another person I want to throw in that category that I want to see really take it to the next level with the US is actually Antonee Robinson. He had a great club year with Fulham. He's always played very well. I feel like he's always a B plus for the US, but we've
Yeah.
never had a game where he's like, oh my God. So
Yeah.
I want to
Well,
see
I
him,
feel as though he's had an oh my god game.
you,
Like I feel
you think he has?
I think he had I feel as though he has. Now, because he's so rock steady, it's very hard to say is it like an A plus 9 out of 10 performance, but I feel as though an 8 and a 9 with this US men's national teams is currently stated. I think those 8 and a 9 performances warrant like this is amazing compared to like just a B where he's steady, like a steady 7, put in a few good crosses, had a really good shift, but it was a lot to be get. Like, when he's on that left side, a lot of teams only attack us through the right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you're a defender, they say if they're not talking about you very much, that's a good thing and you're doing your job. My guess our standards with him are pretty high because he had second in the EPL in assist as a defender last year. And we have seen him been solid on defense, but haven't had that offensive spark for the US.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't need it, but if we're going to make it run, beat a team that's better than us, maybe we will.
True, true. So, you're going with a 3-5-2, who's in goal?
I guess freeze. Is this for me or
No,
what
this is
I
we're
think?
we're doing what our Dim Boys Watch Footy, just
Um,
our quick open. So you're going
not
free.
Poch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we're going freeze and goal.
Now, well, let I think it's real a 4-3-3 is more realistic,
Okay, so
just
four
because
through
we haven't
three.
seen that too
Okay.
much, but who knows? Depends on the
Yeah,
team too, right? Depends on the
yeah,
opponent
true.
and
But
injuries.
let's bang these out. So in goal, you have Matt Freese. The
Yeah.
two central defenders, who are you starting with?
I'm going to put Richards, which is an obvious one, and I think Tim Ream's gonna start because
Okay,
they do need that veteran leadership. I don't think he's a popular choice, but I think he's gonna be in there, and it is important to have someone who is a leader. He'd be the only person on the starting roster over 30, and you do need some leadership.
true. Who's your left back?
Robinson,
Who's
obviously.
your right back?
Dest.
Who are your central midfield three?
Now this is where it gets funny. I'm going to go with, and I don't think he's going to do this, but this is what I would like. Malik Tillman on the left says like a kind of a left midfielder and like a slightly advanced role. McKinney in the center, kind of as like a false 10, and
Yeah,
then Tyler Adams in there as well. You know, maybe if we want Tillman to be more advanced, we could put in Tanner Testament, but let's go with that for now because Tillman is in just such good form. I got to get him.
got you. I like it. I
I
like
don't know if
the
Pochettino
adventure.
will.
I
What do you
like the
think?
adventure. No, I'm good with that. Let's stick with
Yeah.
finishing this one out. And then on the wings, who do you have left wing and right wing?
Yeah, we'll put obviously Pulisic on the left. He tends to favor the left with the U.S. men's national team. And then on the right, I guess Weah. A lot of people want to see Gio Reyna. Maybe he's just going to be like a James Rodriguez and just like
Yeah,
kill it for the U.S. And like he's just not in good club form. So
yeah, he's
yeah,
never
I
been
can't
in
predict
good
it.
club.
It
And
could
then
change, but
finally,
yeah,
yeah, and then finally striker.
yeah, Balogun. I think that's one of the more obvious ones right now.
Copy. Okay. Well, there you have it. That is our Dem Boys Watch Footy early look at the U.S. men's national team starting lineup from us. Let us know if you have any suggestion for us there. And then finally, before we end off, want to talk about our group phase. We're in Group D. U.S. is paired with Paraguay, Australia, and either a host of teams. You have
Run away from
Turkey.
teams.
Yeah, whoever wins within those last few slots. You have Turkey, you have Slovakia, you have a few teams.
Yeah,
Let's just
we don't know.
yeah,
A lot of
yeah,
people
we
think it's
don't
gonna
know.
be Turkey though, but we don't know right now.
Yeah, exactly. So let's go with if everything is kind of standard, we think it's Turkey that's going to be in there. US, Paraguay, Australia, Turkey. What do you think makes it out of that group? And who's first and who's second?
I'm going to go with the USA, not just because I absolutely love them, but on paper, they probably just edge out Turkey, and
Yeah,
they're at home, which cannot be understated. We've seen teams overachieve massively at home. And if Turkey goes through, it's still not a guarantee. I would probably put them, although one team that people always sleep on is Australia.
same.
And
I was going to
people are
say
like
that.
scared of Paraguay, but Australia has that like 2010s men's national team grit that they consistently get out of their group. They do decently in the World Cup. They have that just, I don't know, that like old English colony fight about them. So I'm more scared of Australia than Paraguay based off of their World Cup history. So I'd probably put Australia third and Paraguay fourth. Paraguay just, they did okay in qualifying, but they don't have anyone that scares me. Their best player is on Atlanta United. So
True.
no
Very
offense,
true.
Atlanta United. Do you,
That's what I'm
what
saying.
would you change about what I'm saying? Where am I right and wrong?
So weirdly enough, even though I'm scared of Australia, I put them fourth. I feel
Okay.
as though Turkey is going to be able to once they win or when they win, they're going to be looking at this group very tactically. They're going to look at, okay, all we have to do is survive our game against the US. Everything else has to be wide open. So they're going to be able to play their game against the other squads. Looking at how the US wants to play, we want to play a very possession based game where we are able to build through the wings, be able to attack front foot football. That's one thing that Turkey doesn't do extremely well. They play straight through the center.
Yeah.
They had Artur, one of the really exciting teams. He's really great at football with Real Madrid, and that is the person that you should really look at within this tournament. Now, as you were saying, Paraguay doesn't have great individual talent, but as a team, they still made it coming out
Correct.
of Copa Bowl, out of South American qualifying. That has to say something because of how good that is. So I'm actually looking at the U.S. coming in second, with Turkey coming in first, Paraguay coming in third, Australia coming in fourth. I just feel as though the US are going to get a little bit of a home cook. Like you have to make it out of your group stage. They're going to be on the final day, as the US men's national team usually does. Final day. Okay, what are we going to do? I feel as though it's going to really come down to that. Turkey, I feel as though are going to defeat Paraguay and Australia pretty handedly, and we'll see how everything else kind of falls. But the U.S. firmly within that second position for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think on paper, Turkey competes well with the US. I think I favor the US because Turkey's two best players are really, really young. And the World Cup, you need some experience. And I
Yeah,
think US now, we've been thinking about this for a decade that all these players, Pulisic, McKennie, they're all going to be in their prime 26, 27, 28. So that's one of the reasons I put the US ahead. On paper, the teams are pretty closely matched.
true. And always got to ask this. I know you have a lot of hope for this squad, but tell me, what are you feeling? How far can this team fly? How far do you think they'll go?
I think they could make a good run, possibly a quarterfinal run, because they're at home, and this is the best uh, 11 players that we've ever assembled. We've seen teams at home. Russia get to the quarterfinals in 2018. Korea make it to third place in
Yeah,
2002. And I think this U.S. men's national team is at least better on paper. Like, if we had a Tim Howard level goalie, I'd be like, the sky's the limit. But for us to beat good teams, like great teams, like England, France type level teams, I don't know if Matt Freese is a guy. So I think quarterfinals would be great. If we finish in first, we'd be potentially facing Belgium in a rematch in the round of 16. So we'll see how these things turn out. But that's why we love it. Like on paper, that doesn't always happen. So who knows?
yeah, very true, very true. Well, really glad that we were able to talk about this squad. Nice little opening snapshot, opening salvo of our World Cup coverage. I will be giving you different team and group phase outlooks of what we're thinking throughout the year, culminating up to the World Cup. So please stick with us over at Them Boys Watch Footy. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. Really appreciate y'all time giving us a listen. Thank y'all. We are out.